The Blood of the Dead Easter egg is more than just not a good Easter egg. In fact, it's just not fun and just a plain bad Easter egg. It's just not fun no matter which way I look at it. The more I play that Easter egg, the more I dislike the Easter egg. And I really am disappointed with that because I really wanted Blood of the Dead to be that map. It was going to be one of the greatest maps of all time, but I just can't even bring it in that. I can't even tell you guys that I even thought of bringing that in the conversation because it's just not good, because the Easter egg is just incredibly awful and I just do not like it in the slightest. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video. And even though I started this video sounding very subjective, what I want to do with this video is go over the Blood of the Dead main Easter egg and explain, at least as objectively as I can, why the Blood of the Dead Easter egg is just not a good Easter egg. And unfortunately, there's many steps that I'm going to be pointing out in this Easter egg to show you guys that it's just not a good Easter egg. But I want to first start off with a step, or it's not just one step that happens in the Easter egg. It's more of a problem that plagues the entire Easter egg, literally from step 1 all the way to the boss fight. That's how long this problem exists throughout the entire Easter egg. It's just pretty much every step uses this. I'm sure a lot of you guys realize where I'm going with this, but what I'm talking about is the shield. The shield is actually used from the very first step, which is open pack punch, all the way to the boss fight, and multiple times for every single step. And just to give you an idea, and just to tell you exactly how many times you're going to be using this shield, and what I mean by using it is rather using it to spectral blast or to even just look through it to look at numbers and stuff like that. But of course, just to give you a number, of course these numbers aren't exact, but I'll tell you the general area because it matters on how many players you have in your game. But it's going to take you using the shield 37 to 40 times in this Easter egg. That's how many times at the very minimum you will be using your shield inside this Easter egg. 37 to 40 times. That is ridiculous. And if you guys don't believe me, let me go over this real quick. You have to use this shield once to get pack punch. You need to use it 3 times to get the spoon. You need it 4 times to get the birds. You need it 4 times to do the dogs challenge. You need it 6 times to do the Powerhouse challenge. And then you need it 3 times for the shower challenge. And for Michigan Avenue, it's going to take you 4 times for that challenge. And then for the New Industries challenge, oh my gosh, this one is beautiful. This step is just beautiful. It's going to take you 9 to 12 shield uses to complete that step. And then of course 3 more times in the boss fight. That's how many times at the bare minimum you're going to be using this shield in this Easter egg. And this is assuming you're not messing up or forgetting to do things and just making mistakes. This is if you're doing everything as well as possible, and also doing the very minimal as possible. If you're doing that, this is the amount of times it's going to take you to actually do the Easter egg. You're going to have to use a shield 37 to 40 times, and that's not including during the bird step where you have to walk through the map with your shield out and look about 30 billion times, and we'll get to that bird step in a little bit, but that's not even including the 50 plus times you're going to be doing that while you're doing the bird step. So really, you're using this shield at least 100 plus times every single time you do this Easter egg, and it's honestly ridiculous how often this shield is used. And I really don't like that, because the shield at first isn't a problem. You use the shields for certain steps, that's fine, it's good. I like the change because really you never really use shields for steps in the past, but finally we get a change and we're using the shield, but now it's throughout the entire Easter egg. And the thing is, and the really big problem with it, is that you're not using the shield in a unique way every single time, because you're rather shield blasting or looking through it. That's all you're doing with the shield throughout the entire Easter egg, and this just plagues it the entire Easter egg long from start to finish. You're blasting and looking through the shield the entire Easter egg, and that's a really big problem because it makes the entire entire Easter egg feel the same and very repetitive, and I just do not like that, because if it was something that was fun that you're doing multiple times over and over again, but then it'd probably get boring. But regardless, even if it was fun, it's just not fun because you're going to do it so many times over and over again. And on top of that, using the shield with the spectral blast and the key charge and all that stuff, it's just not fun in the first place. So it's even worse than having to do a fun step over and over again. And that's a huge problem that just plagued this Easter egg from the start to finish. But anyways, now I want to get into more of the specifics of these Easter eggs, because there's some steps that I just do not like for multiple reasons. And the first one I want to start off with is the bird step. So the bird step, I would say, has 3 different problems, but the main one, and the one I've been saying for a really long time now, is that you should be able to hit all 4 birds in one round. I don't get why you can't do this. It's just for some reason making you get 1 bird and the round, 1 bird and the round. Like if you were doing something in between these birds, like if you did 1 bird, then you got a challenge or something like that, then you would have to end the round after that challenge to access the next one. Maybe that'll be fine, but I still disagree with that. But at least it would make you feel like you're doing something, but you're just not at that point. You're just getting the bird, ending the round, getting the bird, ending the round. And I just do not think that is a good thing for this Easter egg, because it's just like, oh, go find the shiny little thing and then play a normal round of zombies, which again, making you play zombies normally in the Easter egg, I don't see as a problem in itself. But to do it 4 times in a row, it's just like, why though? Like, I don't understand why I can't just hit all 4 birds in one round. Why is that not an option for me? I have enough blasts if I have my upgraded shield, and even if not, I can just suck some more souls out of the zombies. So why? I need a reason why, because it doesn't add anything to the gameplay. It just makes the gameplay more artificially difficult because you made us go through a couple more rounds. But then again, I say artificial, but artificially difficult, I mean, even though really the entire Easter egg is artificially difficult, but you guys know what I mean. It's making it even more artificially difficult. But then another problem with the bird step is that, do you know how many different possible locations the bird can spawn in? Just give me a guess before you actually hear me tell you guys, if you guys don't know. Just give me a guess. Well, if you guessed 38, then I don't know why you guessed that, because that's ridiculous. The amount of different spawns is 38. Are you a joke? Is this a joke you're telling me, Treyarch? Like, for reals, 38 different spots to check every single round? I complained about the challenge the shuffle step where you have to find the rat symbol in 16 different locations in one round. It's like you got the shell and shuffle step that I've already despised and you made it worse? What? Because at least you can just shoot with any gun, but now you have to shield blast it, then you have to listen out for it, then you have to get the zombie blood, and then you have to throw something. But 38 locations that they all don't spawn in at once is just ridiculous. There's no way you could put it any other way. 38 locations is not fun. It's just dumb. There's no other way you could really say about this, because it's just not fun. The only thing I could say that can maybe try to make an excuse for this is that you could hear the bird. But even then, it's just like, is that really worth it though? I mean, does that make that much of a difference? I mean, it makes a difference because you don't have to have memorized every single location, but at the same time, it's just like 38 different locations is just, wow, I just don't know. But anyways, I want to talk about the last problem with this Easter egg step, because I do think it has just a fundamental problem with this Easter egg step, because this Easter egg step is very similar to the Rising Drake Easter egg step, where you have to find wisps around the map, but you have to find them around the map, you have to shoot them with the bow and that stuff. It's similar to that, but for obvious reasons, I mean, the wisp step is much better that I'm not going to go over, because, I mean, you could do them all in one round, and it's based on a time limit instead of just doing one every round and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why it's much better, but one of the main reasons why the Rising Drake step is way better, besides having way less spawns, by the way, and all the other problems I've already, well, not having all the other problems with this bird step, besides that, one thing that made it really easy is that the Rising Drake rocket map had really good flow throughout the entire map. I mean, everything was connected. I mean, there was always two ways to get to somewhere that wasn't using a fast travel, and that's why it made it really easy to go around the map and just to check every single wisp spawn. But that's not the case in Blood of the Dead, because Blood of the Dead is more just like a path more than anything, because you get spawn, then you get the prison, well, I guess you get the little area, the bridge area that people call a bridge. It's the, just a catwalk area, and then the area after that, then you get the prison area, then you get to the Citadel area, then you get all the way over here to the docks area. So it's not something where you could casually check around the map all these different locations, because you have to start at one spot and then all the other spot. It's just a long, brutal walk. It's just not really the best idea to have this step in this map in the first place, because it's just a really long walk. You have to be walking around, and you have to do this 4 different times, if I haven't mentioned yet. You do 4 different times, which makes it just top notch. But anyways, I've been spending too much time on this bird step because it is a bad step, but regardless, I want to move on to another one. So next step I want to talk about is actually one of the challenges, and it's the docks challenge. And this one is, of course, the Morse codes one. So the Morse code step, yes, I know we don't like them, but it's not like, well, I guess we just don't like Morse code steps in general. And I mean, none of these developers will ever learn. I mean, which developer hasn't made the mistake of a Morse code step? Really, it's honestly ridiculous. We've already had it in every zombies map ever, it feels like, but our game, I mean. So I don't know if we'll ever learn, but if they'll ever learn. But okay, let's assume that you have to have this Morse code step in your game. Like, there's just no question about it. You have to have the Morse code step in your Easter egg. So the only way I can think you can make this not bad, not a horrible experience, is if you change it to something more like how the boss fight thing, I don't know what it really was, the bomb boss fight step, like the final step for the boss fight in Attack of the Radioactive thing worked. Because what would happen is that you would have to stay stationary, and you wouldn't be able to move, and obviously if zombies are hitting you, that's a problem. So what they did in the boss fight, which they also should have done earlier in the Easter egg for Attack of the Radioactive thing, but we're not talking about that one, but what they did in the boss fight is that when you were putting the code into the bomb, they actually protect you from all the zombies, because they teleported you to a place where there were no zombies. And this worked out really well, because you didn't have to worry about a zombie downing you while you're being stationary. And if you have to have a stationary step like a Morse code step, then you should be protected. Teleport them to a place where they can't be touched and put them on a limit or something. But just don't do this, because Morse code steps are they're just not fun. I mean, especially when you're stationary, getting hit in the back, it's just not a fun experience. And I just don't understand why none of the developers ever learn. Like, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games, and Treyarch continue to make this mistake. They know we don't like it. They know it's not fun. They don't care. Just keep putting a stupid Morse code step for who knows what reason, and I just don't like it. But anyways, after that, I do want to mention this about the dock step also, because after you go ahead and do Morse code, you have to escort a zombie. Well, it's not really protect him, it's just more feeding souls to him, which I don't know if I don't know, again, this is one of these things that the developers just don't seem to fit through their skull. Like, they don't understand this. It makes no sense to them. But the community, the zombies community, they don't like escort steps. You guys honestly wouldn't believe this, but the community despises escort steps. They are some of the worst steps in all of zombies. And which is funny, because the most despised steps in all of zombies Easter eggs ever is Morse code steps, or just stationary steps, and on top of that, escort steps. And this dock steps has both of them combined. I don't even know what I said there, but it's beautiful. I was trying to say beautiful, but it's just amazing how they stuck those together. But anyways, let's move on to a different challenge. So the Powerhouse challenge. So I don't really have too many problems with the Powerhouse challenge, besides the one that plagues the entire Easter egg by having to use a shield so often. But regardless, the only problems I have with this is that there should be an angle when you are actually playing, Simon says, at the power, or the second power, whatever it's called, that room down there, I forget what it's called. I think it's 64 something, but regardless, you guys know what I'm talking about. There should be an angle where you could see every single machine inside that map, because there's 6 different machines you have to keep an eye on. But you only have an angle to see 3 at most, maybe 4 at best, actually. So you never have an angle where you could see all 6 of the machines, and that makes it a problem, especially on solo, when on top of you having a zombie on you, you're going to have to be keeping an eye on, well, you can't really keep an eye on multiple things because you're going to be moving around already, but then you're going to have the thing, the Simon Says thing going off to the side of you, and you're already looking here, and now you have to go see where that is, and it disappears. It's just not a good idea, because it should be a place like in the Rise and Drake, who actually did Simon Says right, and also Moon, where you could just be running around with the zombies with also keeping an eye on the machines and stuff like that. So that's how it should be, but it's not, for who knows what reasons. But you know, it is what it is. So, I mean, that is just a problem with the layout of the map that I don't think they had to have like that. I mean, they could have just had it happen somewhere else or chose different machines, but they did what they did, and they made it annoying and not fun to do. The other one, and this is just a personal thing for me, because I just don't think it should be like this, but I don't think that the Powerhouse, when you fail the Simon Says step, I don't think that should fail the entire step. I think you should have multiple goes at that, because it's just kind of annoying, especially on solo, and pretty much for the reasons I just explained, because it's so easy to fail that it's just annoying and not really that fun, because it's not like the Rise and Rocket where it's kind of easy to remember what you're looking for, or even Moon, because you just remember color, other color, or just stuff like that, or just red, green, blue, yellow, red, green, blue, yellow, and you put that in. And like in Rise and Rocket, you have like rocket, lightning, and just all this different things that you can actually distinguish between. But now you just gotta say machine over there, machine over there, machine over there. So it makes it even more difficult to actually do that step. So I just don't think it should fail you if you are going to make the Easter egg, well, the Simon Says step so difficult. I just don't think it should be like that. But I don't know. They again did what they did. So, let's get to Michigan Avenue. So, Michigan Avenue, I don't know, again, if Treyarch noticed this, but people don't like escort steps. Even though this one is decent, people still don't like escort steps. So, quit putting them in. You already had 2 in the exact same Easter egg, so just stop. So I'm going to go over that one. So let's get into the final problem with the Blood of the Dead main Easter egg. And of course there's another one with the boss fight being kind of a little underwhelming, but we're not going to talk about that one because, I mean, who cares if it's underwhelming? I do actually, so I shouldn't say that. But regardless, I want to talk about the New Industries Challenge. Oh boy, this one's going to be a blast because I have some complaints with this one. Like, I don't understand anything about this Easter egg. I can't even understand where the thought process to even come up with something so stupid as this step. This may be one of the stupidest Easter egg steps of all time. I honestly wouldn't, I actually think that may be the case. I'm trying to remember right now which step is stupider than the New Industry step. Like, actually, I honestly can't think of one, at least currently, and I'm thinking back to every Easter egg ever. I'm not including Exo Zombies because that one just had all bad Easter egg steps, but regardless, for New Industries, it's just bad on so many different levels. It's just like, wow, okay, but regardless, the problem I have with the New Industries challenge, which I'm sure you guys all share, is that, of course, for solo, it's incredibly brutal. So we're going to kind of try to ignore that. But the major problem with this is that you're going to have to make sure, which is kind of crazy. So this is kind of the worst version of an escort step ever, because technically you're not escorting him. You're trying to kill him before he gets to a location. So it kind of has the idea of escort. So it's kind of an escort step, except it's 10 billion times worse because you're the one having to damage him instead of protecting him, because the problem with that is that now he's just going to, I mean, if you don't have enough shield blast or something like that, he's just going to get away and you're going to fail the step. And of course, not only are you going to have to make sure you're shield shocking him all the time, but on top of that, you got to make sure you don't die. And that's a huge problem because when you are trying to kill him, you can't do anything except key him. That's all you can do. So to try to make sure you die and kill him before he gets to his location is way too much to ask, especially on solo. And on top of that, on solo, at the very least, it takes 4 to 5 shield blasts to kill him while you're keying him for the entire time. That is actually the easiest version of it on solo, but even on co-op, as ridiculous as it is when you stand in front of him and all that stuff, which makes it quite easy, but if you don't do it like that and you don't have someone hoarding up all the zombies, it's honestly the worst step of all time. It's actually that bad. It just doesn't make sense to me why this was thought to be put in the map. I get Easter egg steps are supposed to be challenging and they're not supposed to be purely fun. But this is just annoying. There's no other way. I mean, I get that some points you should have annoying steps because they could make a better payoff and stuff like that. But this is just not fun to do. It's a dumb Easter egg step. I don't even care for the stupid story. I mean, he was a murderer who's a ghost, and we're going to kill a murderer with the trap who's already a ghost and got killed. So it's like, and then Dempsey's quote just makes me cringe, dude. I don't really cringe that much during zombies, especially from Treyarch, but my gosh, when he says, "Take that, murderer," it's all like he was already dead, dude. But anyways, it's just like, I don't know, it's just a horrible step that it makes me vomit every single time I think about it. And this is the main reason why I stay away from it, because yes, there's been challenging Easter eggs in the past with some very dumb steps that I've done multiple times over and over again, but this new Industries challenge, it's just bad. There's no other way about it. But anyways, that's about it for me. What I really want to do with this, I know this is a longer video because it's intended to be a longer video, because I wanted to do a complete breakdown of why this Easter egg was so bad and how it's just not a fun Easter egg to do. And it really blows my mind because I don't get what Treyarch really thinks during these steps. I mean, I've already said this multiple times, but really, if it was up to me, I would take what you did inside Mob of the Dead and The Rise and the Rocket, because those are my two, or even Origins, those three maps. See what you did in those ones and start from every Easter egg that you have. Start from that. You don't have to, I'm not asking for the same thing over and over again. I would never ask for that from any developer ever, because that's just dumb. But you have to at least have a ground to start with, because you have to understand what are dumb steps and what are good steps. See what people enjoyed and try to build on that and change them in a way that they could actually be fun. And I mean, you can experiment with new steps, because obviously that's how you move it forward. But when you realize people don't like it, don't do it over and over again, like the escort step. Why? The Morse code step. Why? I just don't understand what the mentality is here when Treyarch is doing this, and to where any zombies developer does it. And it really is disappointing, because most of these things should be obvious, or at least to me and so many other zombies players, these steps are so obviously bad that it actually makes it look like the developers at Treyarch are stupid for putting them in, or absolute idiots to not understand that these are just making your Easter egg this difficult is just not fun, and people aren't going to enjoy it. But I don't know, that's all I really gotta say about this. Honestly, this video really hurt me to make, because I really did really want Blood of the Dead to be one of those great maps, but it just isn't. It just isn't. There's a lot of issues I have with the storyline. The Easter egg's not fun. The gameplay's fun. I mean, the general gameplay is incredibly fun, especially with the new Magma Gat and still having all the stuff from Mob of the Dead, which is cool and all, but still, it's just like, man, there's too many problems to overlook with this Easter egg, and this makes Blood of the Dead, like, really fall low on my list, man, which really hurts me, because I really wanted Blood of the Dead to be this next great map in zombies, because as you may know, Blood of the Dead was my all-time favorite map, and still is, because Blood of the Dead, I can show you, sure as hell didn't get anywhere close to it. So anyways, that's all I gotta say. Again, this was supposed to be a longer video, because it's supposed to be a very detailed breakdown of all the problems with Blood of the Dead, with a little ranting mixed in. But anyways, that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream or video.
So that I know is that